Welcome the rare gems. You've probably noticed that when you keep to yourself, stay focused on your goals, and refuse to get caught up in the drama, people start to feel some type of way about you. They might even resent you for it. The truth is, your ability to mind your own business and not play into the games others love to get tangled in makes them uncomfortable. You don't need to seek validation, stir up chaos, or be the center of attention. And that's exactly why they can't stand you. Your independence, self-sufficiency, and peaceful way of living force them to confront things about themselves they'd rather ignore. As a Sigma female, you're different because you don't let the noise of the world dictate your happiness. You don't crave anyone's approval, and you certainly don't let anyone manipulate your path. This silent strength isn't something everyone can handle, especially those who rely on external drama to feel alive. But here's the thing. That's your power. You're a rare breed, and you have the ability to live fully and authentically without needing anyone's permission. But here's the truth. Minding your own business isn't just a choice, it's a superpower. It takes guts to focus on what really matters when the world demands your attention and energy at every turn. So, when their whispers turn to criticism or their smiles hide jealousy, don't waver. You're not here to fit into their expectations. You're here to live your truth. Let them talk. Let them misunderstand. Your journey isn't meant for everyone, and that's what makes it so extraordinary. Embrace the hate. It's proof you're doing something right for yourself that won't please everyone. So if you're ready to own your uniqueness, embrace your inner strength and understand why others hate you for simply minding your own business. This is for you. You might just realize you're stronger than you thought. Keep watching. Let's get started. Rare gems. Number 1. You refuse to be dragged down. Misery loves company, and toxic people love an audience. They thrive on drama, chaos, and dragging others into their endless cycles of negativity. But you're not here for it. The moment someone tries to pull you into their mess, you either walk away or shut it down with a calm that's more powerful than any argument they could throw at you. Here's the thing. Some people survive by spreading their misery. They bait you with complaints, gossip, or outrage, hoping to get a reaction. Why? Because your attention validates their chaos, but you've mastered the art of detachment. You don't rise to the occasion, don't take the bait, and don't give them the satisfaction of seeing you flustered. And that, to them, feels like rejection. Your refusal to sink to their level exposes something they'd rather keep hidden. The fact that their toxicity isn't about the world being unfair or others being cruel. It's about them. Your calmness becomes a mirror, showing them that peace is a choice, and they've been choosing chaos all along. That realization stings, so they lash out, trying even harder to pull you down, but you don't budge. You've worked too hard to protect your peace and build a life free from unnecessary drama. You understand that energy is precious, and wasting it on someone else's negativity is a price you're not willing to pay. By standing your ground, you send a clear message. You're not here to fix their mess or share their burden. You're here to grow, thrive, and live in alignment with your own values. Let them resent you if they want. Your refusal to be dragged down is the reason you'll always rise above. Number 2, you can't be guilt-tripped. For a lot of people, guilt is their go-to tool for control. It's subtle, sneaky, and designed to make you question yourself. How could you? Don't you care? I guess I'll just deal with it alone. They expect these lines to work, to twist your emotions and bend you to their will. But when it comes to you, they hit a brick wall. You've done the work to understand yourself, your values, priorities, and boundaries. That clarity acts as armor against guilt-tripping. You don't let manipulative tactics cloud your judgment or make you feel responsible for someone else's feelings or choices. Instead of absorbing the guilt they throw at you, you calmly hand it back where it belongs. And it's a power move they didn't see coming. What really frustrates guilt trippers is that their tactics lose all effect when you refuse to engage. They expect you to over-apologize, overcompensate, or cave to their demands, but your unshakable sense of self leaves them powerless. You see their game for what it is and choose not to play. Does it make them angry? Sure. People who use guilt to control others hate being called out, directly or indirectly, by someone who simply won't budge. But that's not your problem. You've learned that guilt is often a projection, not a reflection of reality. Their feelings are their responsibility, not yours. By staying true to yourself and setting firm boundaries, you're not just protecting your peace. You're teaching others that manipulation won't fly with you. So let them stew in their frustration. Your refusal to be guilt-tripped isn't just a defense mechanism, it's a declaration that your life is your own, and no one gets to control it. Number 3. You don't share their fear of missing out. For most people, the fear of missing out, FOMO, runs their lives. They chase every trend, RSVP to every event, and obsess over being included in everything, because deep down, they equate being left out with being less worthy. But you're not wired that way. You're perfectly fine in your own lane, and that terrifies them. Your ability to say no without hesitation leaves them baffled. You're not worried about what everyone else is doing, what's hot right now, or who's talking about what. Why? Because your happiness isn't tied to constant external validation. You've figured out something they haven't. True contentment comes from living authentically, not from chasing every fleeting trend or trying to be everywhere at once. To people obsessed with FOMO, your indifference feels threatening. Your calm detachment makes them question why they're running themselves ragged, trying to keep up. If you can be happy without chasing it all, what does that say about the endless rat race they've signed up for? It forces them to confront the possibility that they've been looking for happiness in all the wrong places. And instead of taking that hard look inward, they turn their frustration outward, at you. They label you as boring, antisocial, or even arrogant, but deep down, they're envious. They wish they had your ability to walk away from the noise and prioritize peace over popularity. Your refusal to share their fear of missing out is your superpower. It allows you to focus on what truly matters, stay grounded, and build a life that aligns with your values. Let them hate if they want. You're not missing out on anything that really matters, and that's a freedom they can't comprehend. Number 4, you expose their need to be needed. There are people who build their entire identity around being needed. Whether it's offering unsolicited advice, swooping in to fix things, or playing the hero, their sense of worth is tied to how much others depend on them. But then there's you, self-reliant, capable, and more than happy to figure things out on your own. And to them, that's a problem. Your independence doesn't just irritate them, it threatens their need to feel superior. When you refuse to ask for help unless it's absolutely necessary, you take away their opportunity to step in, take charge, or position themselves as the savior. This leaves them feeling unnecessary, even irrelevant, and they don't like that one bit. What frustrates them most is that you don't reject their help out of arrogance. You're not dismissive or ungrateful. You simply value your ability to solve your own problems. You've learned that true empowerment comes from within, not from leaning on others to boost your confidence or ease your burdens. For people who thrive on being needed, your self-sufficiency shines a spotlight on their hidden insecurity. It forces them to confront the uncomfortable truth. Their worth shouldn't depend on how indispensable they are to others, but instead of reflecting on that, they project their resentment onto you. They may call you stubborn, distant, or even cold, but deep down, they're grappling with their own unfulfilled need for relevance. The irony? Your independence doesn't exclude them, it just sets healthy boundaries. You're open to genuine connections, but not at the cost of losing your autonomy. Let them misunderstand you if they must. Their resentment only highlights the strength they wish they had, and your refusal to depend on anyone unnecessarily is exactly what sets you free. At number 5, you don't waste energy on unnecessary battles. While the world around you spins in a constant cycle of petty arguments and needless drama, you've mastered the art of conserving energy for what truly matters. You don't waste your time on useless battles that don't contribute to your growth or peace of mind. It's not that you're afraid of conflict, it's that you simply don't see the point in engaging with negativity that has no long-term value. This quiet refusal to participate in others' chaos leaves some people fuming. They thrive on confrontation, on stirring up conflict to prove a point, feed their egos, or distract themselves from their own insecurities. When they throw their tantrums, looking for a reaction, and you don't give them one, it messes with their sense of control. They hate that you won't engage, that you're not playing their game. It forces them to face the fact that their need for conflict is more about them than it is about the actual issue at hand. Your disengagement feels like a loss to them, like they're being robbed of the chance to make you react or prove their superiority. But in truth, you're the one who wins. You're not draining yourself on meaningless exchanges. You're too busy channeling your energy into what actually moves you forward. They can shout, argue, and push all they want. You won't budge. And while they exhaust themselves in fruitless battles, you maintain your calm, conserve your energy, and continue to rise above. It's not about winning or losing. It's about choosing peace over pointless conflict. And that in itself is the greatest victory. Number 6, you don't play nice. Sigma females aren't interested in playing the game of forced politeness or pretending everything is okay just to keep the peace. You don't go out of your way to be rude, but you don't believe in sugarcoating the truth or engaging in superficial pleasantries. If something's off, you won't pretend it's not. You don't need to smile through discomfort or nod along just because it's expected. This directness, this refusal to play along with societal scripts can make people uncomfortable, especially those who thrive on keeping up appearances. They need the facade, the smile when they're angry, the pleasantries even when it's fake, because it reassures them that everything is fine, even if it's not. But you don't need that validation. If something's bothering you, you'll either address it or keep it moving. No small talk to fill in the gaps, no pretending to like someone you don't. For those who constantly perform in social situations, your lack of participation feels like a challenge to their carefully constructed world. They hate that you won't bow to their need for constant affirmation or conform to the silent rules of social interaction. It's threatening because it exposes the shallow foundation of their interactions. You don't need to play nice to feel secure. Your authenticity shines brighter than any facade they could maintain. And while they might resent your bluntness, they secretly admire your ability to exist without pretending to be anything you're not. And that's what truly sets you apart. You choose honesty over comfort, and in a world full of masks, that's something rare and powerful. Number 7, you won't be anyone's puppet. People who thrive on manipulation and control hate when they can't get their way. They're used to pulling the strings, pushing buttons, or getting others to do their bidding with the right mix of charm, guilt, or force. But with you, that doesn't work. You've built an invisible but solid wall around yourself, a boundary they can't breach no matter how hard they try. You won't be anyone's puppet. You don't bend to pressure, don't yield to guilt trips, and certainly don't fall for manipulation tactics. You see through the games they try to play, and you choose to mind your own business rather than engage in their need for control. This independence infuriates them because it exposes their lack of power. They can't get to you, can't push you into doing what they want, and they don't know how to handle it. It's not that you're intentionally difficult or stubborn. It's just that you value your autonomy too much to let anyone hold the strings. You've learned how to operate without needing approval or guidance from others. Your ability to make decisions on your own without interference threatens their sense of control. When they can't manipulate you, they feel small. They resent your unwillingness to be their pawn, to play along with their tactics, and to submit to their need for dominance. But what really eats at them is the truth you embody. True power comes from within, and you've already figured that out. At number 8, you don't need them. The moment you stop relying on others for approval, support, or attention, you expose a vulnerability in those who depend on it to feel validated. You become a walking reminder that true strength and self-worth come from within, and that's something many people can't handle. Their entire sense of security is built on the idea that they need others, whether it's for praise, recognition, or reassurance, to feel complete. But you don't need any of that. You stand firm on your own, and that scares them. Your indifference to their existence feels like a nightmare to them because it strips away the foundation they've built for themselves. They thrive on being needed, on playing a role in someone else's life, or basking in the attention they think they deserve. But you don't need anyone to validate you. You don't crave approval, and you're not desperate for support or attention. The fact that you can exist so confidently and self-sufficiently without depending on anyone for your sense of worth makes them question their own neediness. They hate it because it forces them to confront their own insecurities, their reliance on others to fill a void inside themselves. When you show that you don't need them, they feel inadequate, irrelevant, and exposed. You become the mirror they fear, reflecting back everything they wish they could be, but can't. Your independence becomes their source of discomfort, and in your self-sufficiency you expose the fragility of their own identity. Number 9. Your freedom feels like an impossibility, what they'll never have. The freedom to live on your own terms, unencumbered by the expectations, pressures, and norms that bind them. While others are stuck following the unwritten rules of society, chasing validation, or living out a script they didn't write, you exist in a way that feels foreign and impossible to them. You live outside the box, comfortable with the freedom to choose your path, unhindered by anyone's opinion or societal expectations. For those who have always played by the rules, those who derive their sense of worth from fitting in and adhering to norms, your freedom feels like an impossibility. It's not just that they envy it, they resent you for it. You remind them of the things they've sacrificed for the sake of conformity, their desires, their authenticity, their sense of individuality. Your refusal to be shackled by the weight of expectations is like a mirror reflecting their own shortcomings, their lack of courage to break free. They hate that you don't need approval to feel complete, that you're unbothered by the things they feel compelled to chase. Your unchained existence challenges their very understanding of how life should be lived, and deep down they know they could never replicate it. So instead of being inspired by your freedom, they'll resent it. Your unrestrained way of living exposes the limitations they've placed on themselves, and that's a truth they're unwilling to face. At number 10, you're an enigma in a world of open books. We live in a world where oversharing is the norm. People spill their thoughts, lives, and every mundane detail online, chasing likes, validation, and a fleeting sense of connection. But then there's you, a closed book in a library of open pages. You keep your life private, your moves quiet, and your thoughts guarded. To many, this is unsettling. Your preference for privacy is not a wall, it's a boundary. You're not hiding, you're simply valuing what's sacred, your peace, your growth, and your personal world. But for those who are used to dissecting everyone else's lives like an open diary, your mystery is intolerable. They hate it because they can't categorize you, can't predict your next move, and can't control how you're perceived. In their minds, being private feels alien, maybe even threatening. If you're not broadcasting your life, are you hiding something? Or worse, do you just not care what they think? That idea shakes them because their world is built on external validation. By staying quiet and centered, you show them that life doesn't need an audience to be meaningful, and that's a truth many aren't ready to accept. Your mystery isn't intentional, it's just who you are. You don't feel the need to explain yourself, justify your choices, or announce your every step. And that frustrates people who want access to everyone's lives for their own comfort or entertainment. Being an enigma is your strength. In a world that rewards oversharing, your ability to stay private makes you untouchable. Let them be curious, let them speculate. You owe no one a roadmap to your life. What they can't understand is what they fear, and what they fear, they hate. And yet none of that affects you because you're too busy living life on your terms. Number 11, you don't feed their need for attention. People who thrive on attention need an audience, and you're just not interested in playing that role. While others might clap, cheer, or even feed into their endless drama, you stand there, calm, unbothered, and utterly indifferent. To someone who lives for validation, your refusal to engage is like a spotlight being turned off mid-performance. And that, my friend, is their worst nightmare. These attention seekers thrive on reactions. They want you to gasp at their stories, praise their achievements, or join in their pity parties. But you don't play along. You see through the theatrics and recognize the exhausting cycle of needing constant validation. Why waste your energy on their inflated egos when you could use it for something meaningful? Your indifference doesn't just confuse them, it threatens them. Without an audience, their entire act falls flat. Suddenly, they're forced to confront the fact that maybe, just maybe, their attention-seeking behavior isn't as captivating as they thought. Instead of rethinking their actions, they turn their frustration toward you. They'll label you as cold, arrogant, or even heartless, all because you refuse to stroke their egos. Here's the thing. Your peace and focus come from within, not from applause or approval, and that makes you immune to the social games they thrive on. Keep being unapologetically you. Let them hate, let them misunderstand, because your refusal to feed into their chaos is a powerful statement. It says you value your energy, your time, and your authenticity too much to waste it, and that's a strength they'll never understand. In conclusion, in a world where chaos, drama, and the need for validation run rampant, your decision to mind your own business and live on your own terms becomes a silent rebellion. You aren't swayed by the noise that consumes others, and that's why they hate you. They don't understand how you can be so self-sufficient, so peaceful, and so unbothered by their expectations. Your independence, your ability to focus on your own growth and peace, forces them to confront their insecurities. It's not that you're trying to make anyone uncomfortable, it's simply that you refuse to play by their rules, and that terrifies them. But here's the thing. You are a Sigma female because you have something rare: self-reliance, strength, and the courage to carve your own path. You don't need anyone's approval to feel valid. You don't waste time on unnecessary drama. And you certainly don't let anyone pull your strings. That's something few can understand, but that's exactly what makes you stand out. So don't let their resentment shake you. You're on a journey they might never understand, but that doesn't make it any less valuable. Keep doing what you're doing, staying true to yourself, finding peace in your own company, and building the life you want. Your strength is not a threat to others. It's a reminder to them that they too could live freely if they chose to. Keep living your truth, because in the end, your indifference to their chaos is your superpower, and it's your greatest freedom. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video. Bye for now, and God bless.